For the be here.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Security in the state, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has established a working group, recommendations include policy changes and community initiatives, and designating a food access liaison within the governor's office. This story was produced with original reporting from Destiny Clark, the Arkansas Delta Informer. I'm Frida Ross. Arkansas News Service. Find our
All right. Oh. I think so.
Yes, get on in this morning. Something's not right. Something. Hello. I'm not moving right here. Okay. Something is happening. What is happening? Hello. That's not supposed to do that. And this is not moving right here. That's not moving right there. We having technical difficulties. Our machine is not working. And she was just because now everything has gone up. And the lights. Hello. Hello. Something's wrong.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then your phone.
I don't know about that. I don't know how to put it on there.
That should be us coming in live right here at KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. Thank you so much for joining us for KABF. This is Community Voices with your host, the Rev Dr, but you can call me Denise. And we also have special guests in the house today. I can't wait for you to hear this conversation that we are going to have in just a minute. Can't wait for you to hear this conversation that we Thanks for joining us for Community Voices right here. We are live at KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. We coming in, we trying our best to get online with this technology. Love it today, hate it tomorrow. But we are so glad that you are here. Deidre, let me know if you can hear us now. Can you see us? Can you hear us? Those of you who are looking and listening online, we are trying our best to make sure that you can see and hear us on this morning. But we are so grateful for you today. Just want to pause for just a moment because we never want to forget to let you know how much we appreciate you. Because if it were not for you, KABF would not be about to celebrate 40 years of service to the community. One of only 12 local community radio stations, 100,000 watts. One of only 12 with 100,000 watts And we are about to celebrate 40 years of service to you, and we can only do that because of you, how you serve us. Every time we ask you to show up in whatever ways we ask you to show up, that is exactly what you do. And for that, we are grateful. So we are excited about the celebration that's coming up, and we want to make sure that you are invited and that you know all about it. So we will keep you posted because you can start getting your tickets even now. I do have some announcements this morning that I need to cover before we introduce our special guest. Woo, 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 woo. Those of you who are watching online, you can already see who it is. But in a minute, we'll let them introduce themselves. Let me go ahead with these announcements. The Central Arkansas Library System, otherwise known as CALS, is excited to have Karen Slaughter on the Ron Robinson Theater stage, 100 River Market Avenue, on Thursday, August 22nd. Slaughter will discuss her latest thriller in the Will Trent series, This Is Why We Lied. Karen Slaughter is the author of more than 20 instant New York Times best-selling novels. She is published in 120 countries with more than 40 million copies sold across the globe. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. and the discussion begins at 6:30. 250 books will be given to the first individuals in line for the discussion. The event is free and open to the public, but registration is required. Go to cals.org to register. Go to cals.org to register. Housing Town Hall. House everyone. House everyone is happening on Tuesday, August 27th at 6 p.m. located at 333 President Clinton Avenue in Little Rock. That's where the town hall will be held, at 333 President Clinton Avenue in Little Rock. That's on Tuesday, August 27th, 6 p.m. Join us for the Housing Town Hall. We have tickets available for this event. It is the Reggae Festival. Let's see, One Love presents Arkansas Reggae Festival on Saturday, Labor Day weekend, August 31st from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's hosted by Santa Jean, the KOKY Queen. It'll happen at Argenta Green Park, 300 Bishop Lindsay Avenue in North Little Rock. Early bird tickets are on sale now at www.arreggaefestival.com. That's www.arreggaefestival.com. The proceeds will benefit young community activists of Bearing Cross. The proceeds will benefit young community advocates of Bearing Cross in North Little Rock. For sponsorship opportunities, vendors, and more information, please call 501-744-8842. For more information, please dial 501-744-8842. Arkansas State Claims Commission. The Arkansas State Claims Commission will hold hearings on August 22nd through the 23rd, 2024, beginning at 9 a.m. These hearings will take place via Zoom. Members of the public wishing to observe the Zoom hearings may obtain the conference call details by calling the commission office and asking to speak with Sabrina Hike. If there are questions, please contact the commission office at 501-682-1619. Please call the commission office at 501-682-1619 if you are interested in participating in the Arkansas State Claims Commission hearings by Zoom. The Central Arkansas Library System, also known as CALS, is excited to announce that the 2024 Six Bridges Book Festival will be held September 23rd through 29th, 2024. This year's festival chairperson is Senator Joyce Elliott, a CALS board member and former high school English teacher. The event will feature award-winning, best-selling, and emerging authors in virtual and in-person sessions and special events. Most festival events will be free and open to the public. Most festival events will be held at CALS's Library Square.
Ooh, I'm tired already. You know, that old commercial about the Army said we do more before 9 o'clock than most people do
All day.
all day. Well, I was in the Army, and today was one of those days. I have done more before 9 o'clock than most people will do today. I've had several meetings this morning, but I made it. I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation this morning. Just want to give an update on Senator Joyce Elliott. I did get an opportunity to see her this weekend. She is in rehab, and she is doing well. We laughed. We had a good time in that room. We laughed. We just conversated. But the great thing that something she said to me that really touched me and this really touched my heart is when she said persevere. And she was talking about the election. She was talking about what's going on. She said persevere, that we have to continue to persevere in everything that we're doing. We can't let anything stop us. We can't let anything derail us. No matter what it is, we have to keep pushing forward. So
that reminds me, I also need to give you all an update for those of you who have been trying your best to get in touch with me to offer your condolences for the loss of my mother. I want you to know that I really appreciate all of the different ways that you are showing up. One of the ways that you are showing up is that you all have been sending me mail. I've got so much mail, and you all have been sending me mail since it happened on July 12th. And I just need to be honest with you right now. I have not opened up that mail. I decided yesterday that I was going to conquer this mountain of mail, and all I got, the farthest that I got was just sorting it out. And so I know that some of you are wondering if I'm paying attention, if I hear, if I've heard from you. Yes. I have received your correspondence. I will. I know this is the reason why I'm telling you this, because I was taught that you're supposed to respond to somebody within 2 weeks. You're supposed to send out your thank you notes within 2 weeks. And I know it's been longer than 2 weeks. So I just want to let you know that I am going to conquer that mail by the end of this week. And I will get those thank you notes back out to you, because I do want you to know how much I appreciate you, how much I appreciate you walking with me through this journey that I've never been on before. And so please know that I am thinking of you. Not just the mail. Some of you, I have unread text messages. I can see your names, but I have not read the messages. So I just want you to know that I do feel your presence, and I really appreciate you being with me along this way. I want to take a moment also to say, check on your people. I haven't heard from Phyllis Brown. Usually Phyllis Brown and I talk every single day. And then on Facebook, it says you can't get to her. So I figure she's in Facebook jail. Have y'all ever been in Facebook jail before? Maybe she in Facebook jail. Y'all go see about your people, because I haven't heard from Phyllis Brown. So if anybody knows it, make sure that she's okay. I'm about 2 days away from showing up at the door just to make sure that I know what's going on. Okay, now we are excited. Make sure that I have an opportunity for our guests to introduce themselves to you. And then we're going to get on with the tidbit, and then we will have our conversation about Black and chess. Chess and Black is what I believe I called it on the flyer that went out, those of you who are following the flyers on Facebook. So I know he's probably going to yield to his wife to go first. So if you don't want to go, if you don't mind introducing yourself, Queen B in the house.
Hello, everyone. It's such an honor to be here, Denise. Dr. Denise, I like to say. Tony, I like to reference my husband. I don't have much of a voice, so I try not to speak too much. Bottom line is, I'm Elizabeth Davis, in care of Tony Davis, my husband, and we have a National Chess League Alliance nonprofit that was created in 2021. Tony is the CEO, and as he is a life chess master and well noted here in the state of Arkansas for well over 30 years. And he has a chess club. And I am his wife, and we've been married 3 years, going on 4 next year. privilege to be here with you, Denise.
Okay. All right, Queen B. Liz in the house. And who else? You said it's your husband. Who is your husband? The life master. Who is this now? Introduce yourself, Tony. Somebody out there doesn't know who you are.
National Chess Master and Life Master, as she said, Tony Davis, #1 in Arkansas's history. And she mentioned our business that we started in 2021, National Chess League Alliance Association, and we're dedicated to promoting the game in Arkansas throughout the nation. Very important game, in my view. It's something that we've been remiss on having in our school. It's like Russia does, and we're going to flip that around.
We're going to flip that around.
Yeah, we can speak on
We're
that.
going to be like
from
Russia.
all angles.
Okay. I want to get our tip in for today, which is rooted in the song that we started with Jermaine Jackson. And those of you who know his voice, I know you heard some vocals provided by the great Stevie Wonder in that song. Let's get serious and fall in love is what Jermaine Jackson says. And he's really talking about, Hotep, I see you. He's really talking about a relationship with a woman. He has found someone who has piqued his interest and he wants to get to know her better. And so he's having this conversation and he wants her to know that I want to commit to you. I want to give myself over to this journey with you. I want us to be together for the long haul, because when we come together, there are things that we can get done that we cannot get done on our own. And he's letting her, one of the favorite lines I like is he says, we want our body to follow our minds. So we want to make sure that we have a connection with our minds, and then our bodies are going to say yes to the connection that we make with our minds, because it's all about what we can think. It's all about how deeply we think, because when we think about that word serious, that's what it's about. It's about characterizing ourselves, being able to describe ourselves as people who are deep in thought, that when we put our minds to something, we want to think it through. We want to think it through every way we can think it through so that we can make the best decision for our lives, because in making the best decision for our lives, it better positions us to serve the community of folks that we say that we love. And so in the spirit of Sawubona, we say that. In the spirit of oneness, we greet each other. In the spirit of oneness, we invite you into a space. In the spirit of oneness, we want to be in relationship with you so that we can get serious about the things that need to get done. And the only way that we can be serious is to make sure that we are thinking more deeply about the issues that are before us. And right now, we're going to talk about that. One of those issues being the lack of chess in the areas that need them the most. But here's our EJI tidbit today for August 13th in the year 1955. Black veteran Lamar Smith is shot and killed in front of the Brookhaven, Mississippi courthouse for urging Black residents to vote. No one is arrested despite numerous witnesses. Again, Black veteran Lamar Smith is shot and killed in front of the Brookhaven, Mississippi courthouse for urging Black residents to vote. No one is arrested despite numerous witnesses. We are in an election cycle right now. You got folks campaigning right now because they want your vote. And there are some people out there, especially in the Black community. It might be happening in other communities, but I'm always centering Blackness. And in the Black community, we have some people saying that our vote doesn't matter. But from before 1955, but this tidbit is in 1955, from 1955 till today, they are still willing to do whatever being serious about the issues that we are facing, one of which is voter suppression, another of which is the lack of chess in the schools, the lack of chess in the lives of the particularly young folks. If I'm not mistaken, Tony Davis, you are concerned about 13 to 24-year-olds. Want to make sure that you catch that group, because it's not just, it's something about that group, but we also know that that is a pivotal time in your life when you become a teenager. Now you're trying to get on over into manhood, and you have into adulthood, and you have all of these stimulants. You have all of these things pulling and tugging at you for your attention. So how do we get you to get serious about your life, serious about making good choices, serious about the decision-making process, all of which can be learned as you play the game of chess? And so we're going to talk about that. But first, Toney Davis, I want you to share with us how you even got involved in chess. Why are you so passionate about the game?
Well, I believe God put a desire in me to do so. I've loved the game years before I even learned the game. When I first saw a chessboard, I've always loved games, but the games didn't have the strategic element that it needed. You would flip the cards and you would shoot the dice, but I needed a game where I could just out strategize my opponent. And I saw that chessboard, I fell in love at that point. And I think a lot of youngsters might share that same enthusiasm, but they don't have the same opportunity, or they don't have the opportunity. I didn't have a lot of opportunities. Why it took so many years later for me to learn the game, if that answers your question.
You said it took so many years later for you to learn the game. How many years did it take you to learn the game? Why did it take so many years?
Well, I learned at the age of 13, I saw my babysitter when I was 7 years okay, to this day. But yeah, I would go to my classroom in the third grade, and they would have these games stacked up, but I didn't see the chessboard. There was no chess nowhere. And so for years, I kept seeking this game until I finally got a chess set in my Christmas in the 8th grade. Opened it, read the rules, taught myself, which, by the way, I think is the best way to learn the game. You just teach yourself this game. You don't have to wait for somebody else to teach you. Read the instructions just like you do anything else, and just you know how to play all of a sudden. And you're constantly learning. I'm still learning. You never stop learning.
Well, you said that we could just teach ourselves how to play the game, just get the game and read the instructions, and we don't have to wait for anybody. We can take the initiative, which I think is another thing we have to get serious about, especially when we think about this world in which we live in, fighting all of these systems of oppression. We can't wait for somebody else to pick up the mantle for us. We can't wait for somebody else to decide to give us something. We can't wait for somebody else to write the legislation on our behalf. We have to do it ourselves. We have to take the initiative. And that can only happen, though, in my opinion, if you have access. And so if a child says, I'm interested in this game of chess, and I don't mind picking up the instructions and teaching myself, but I don't even have the game. So can we talk a little bit about access to chess, or the lack thereof, here in Arkansas?
Absolutely. There's lack of access. There's also lack of financial incentive, which is where we come in. I'm sorry. Okay. I got distracted by my phone. I apologize for that. Yes.
You were talking about the lack of access, lack of resources, for people to have access to the game.
It's just not a game that's readily made available like you see with music and sports. Now, in Russia, they take the game seriously, as we spoke about Thursday. They mandate that their children learn this game. They are graded according and passed according to how excellent they are at thinking. That's what this game is about, essentially. It's about thinking, critical thinking, decision making, memory, logic, strategizing, preparation, the whole nine. And being focused, learning how to concentrate, learning how, and you spoke on the age limit from 13, well, it's not the limit, but we're focusing on 13 to 24-year-olds. That's a critical. Pressures dealing with the opposite sex. You got all this going on, the religious aspect of your life. Is God mad at me if I don't do this? And so chess helps to kind of narrow down that focus. You got to focus. And I show players from the first move how to start trying to make a plan to achieve your aim. And I don't want to ramble, so I think I answered the question.
Yeah, I think one thing that we have to look at, and especially when it comes to the Black community, when you start talking about whether it's dominoes, whether it's spades, or whether it's shooting dice, they label that as games. The people who are trying to control the system of right and humanity will label that as a game. Even though the only time you hear the word the game of chess is in certain settings, but you don't hear that a lot in the Black community. That's why when you go to a school, you see games, but you don't see chess, because unlike sports, the game of sports or other things, the one thing that chess does, it makes you think so far out the box, and it develops your critical thinking. They don't want you to think critically. They don't want you to. They don't want you to. They don't want you to be able to figure out. They don't want you to understand that, in life, you're going to have some pawns. In life, you're going to have a back row of power. They don't want you to know that, because once you start to figure that out, and then you start to apply that game, and most people will tell you who play chess and are really efficient in chess will tell you that the game of chess is a you can entertain us. We want you in a place where you're a rapper or you're a music, where you can entertain us, or we want you in a place where you can serve us. Because once you learn the power that you have and you start making moves on the power that you have, then we lose control over you. In all these other spaces, we still have control. So in all these other spaces, they will call it a game. And people don't realize whether it's playing dominoes or playing spades. I know me and Denise have played spades together. We played dominoes together. To say that you don't have to think, in playing spades or playing dominoes is a lie.
It's true.
But what changes everything is that they will call chess, and I've heard people say in different spaces, chess is a game of life. Spades is just a game. It's just a game.
Well, I think that what we continue to face, and we have to let's get serious about this and think about it on a deeper level. What we continue to face is even Black people experiencing internalized racism, where the system of white inhumanity, through their gaze, everything that is considered to be part of Black culture, they demonize. And so when you talk about playing spades, when you talk about playing dominoes, there's this image that you have in your mind of people that have on what you call wife beaters sitting around slap, and that's the image that comes up, and that's because we're looking at it through the white gaze. But like you said, Tony, that it's a game. Every game that we play, from whether it's spades or chess or dominoes, whatever it is, even Connect Four, because we play Connect Four.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
I'll whoop you every time.
Oh! I got trauma. Somebody calm me down. Give me a volume or something.
So regardless of what game it is that we're playing, it absolutely engages our mind. And so the world wants us to continue to believe that we are dull in our minds, because that's the lie that they've been telling for so many years. And we have bought into that even as Black folks. And so that's why some Black people don't want to even play any other game. They want to play chess because they believe that chess is a white man's game. And then they want to make sure that they are getting as close to whiteness as possible, because they feel like that's going to make them better. And then they are separating themselves from their own culture because they are believing the lie that this is something that is wrong, this is something that is inferior, something that we should not be interested in doing.
Yes, all the math is
Caller, we got caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Denise.
Hey.
Where
Where you been?
I'm still here, girl. I ain't went nowhere. Let me turn this radio down. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I'm all right, Denise. Hey, I just talked to Tony yesterday with him and Neil.
You mean like
down
with it?
Hey, I just wanted to say to Denise, hey, my condolences to your mom. I didn't know your mom had passed.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, she passed on the 12th of July.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, because I lost my mom too and my dad.
Well, you know how I feel.
Yeah, I know. I heard you said you gotta answer them fan letters. You didn't mean to be going past 2 weeks, but I can understand what you're going through.
Yeah, moving in slow motion. That's the truth.
Hey, what you said, hey, it's gotta be slow motion.
Hmm.
Hey,
It's good to hear from you, though.
Okay?
It's good to hear from I'm not trying to take myself out of my feelings. I'm not trying to press on in the name of Jesus. I'm not doing any of that. I'm allowing my body to do what it is doing, and it is grieving, it is mourning. I am sad. I've been off to the cabin. Tony, that reminds me, I need to say thank you for holding it down. I haven't been in the studio for a while because I've been trying to tend my body and trying to make sure that I'm managing my emotions and getting it done. So I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me that it is okay to center my emotions and to let them do what they do.
Hey, yes, indeed. And one other thing I want to say too, Denise, you got two Tonys in the studio.
Two of them.
Tony, the co-host, and Tony the chef.
Tony with an E and Tony with a Y. Tony with an EY and Tony with just Y.
Oh, really? Hey, I want to say, before I go up to Denise, I want to say to Tony, the chef master. Hey, Tony.
Hey.
Hey, I learned chess in prison.
Yes, sir. That's a point we
And you
gotta
know
hit.
what? I never had no idea of chess. When I looked at a chessboard before I went to prison, I didn't know what it meant. But you know what? It's a thinking game.
Yes, sir.
And man, you know what? Hey, I consider myself to be all right in that department because I like to think.
We are all right. All of us are all right. We just got to know it, and we got to be serious about reminding each other of that. We are intellectuals. Yes, we are not just entertainers. Indeed. We are intellectual entertainers. we can be both. Yeah. We can be both. Yeah.
Hey, you better put your mouth in, folks, okay?
You funny.
Hey, I just want to call in. I want to put a comment on there on that. Hey, I'm always listening to y'all show.
I appreciate you so much.
Hey, it's not much Black Talk Radio.
I know, right?
Right.
I really appreciate hearing from you. It's been a minute. It's so good to hear your voice, and I'm glad you're still calling in. I appreciate you.
Hey, I got to. I better call in.
Yeah, we are the voice of the people, so we need to hear your voice. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
What you said.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right,
bye-bye.
Right. And that reminds me, I did not say this. Phone lines are open at 501-433-0088. The phone lines are open at 501-433-0088. And I also forgot the disclaimer that the thoughts and opinions of this show belong to the hosts and the host only. They are not the thoughts and opinions of the radio station. So please remember that. You get mad, you can call Tony and talk about me. It's all right. It's all right. Tony with the EY. Tony with the EY. You were about to say something, Chessmaster Tony Davis, before we called in. I was talking about the gaze, how we continue to look at ourselves through the white gaze, thinking that those things that are cultural to us, like dominoes, like spades, we are taught that that's inferior. And so one of the reasons I think that chess is removed from us intentionally is because they don't consider us to be intellectual enough to be able to handle the game. And then when we get in prison, you want to teach it to me, like we said, you want to teach it to me now, and it's going to give me skills that you're going to actually hone skills that I've always had. I just didn't realize it because you don't develop them outside of the prison. You want to develop them inside the prison where we can't do anything with them that continues to further our community until we get out. If we get out, because of the sentencing law, some of us don't get out. And so that's what we were talking about right before you called and you got ready to say. You said you wanted to bring us to that point.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you all for having us on the show, me and the Queen. We really appreciate that. We're honored to be here, very excited. And yes, the game is actually a lot of Black people and a lot of white people label it as a white man's game, which is really ridiculous when you consider this game actually originated.
Don't say Europe.
How you answer the question.
But it don't say Europe.
No, I can show you a beautiful picture of the Queen playing chess in Africa, Egypt, on the hieroglyphic walls, which is a whole nother topic, because how did they even write on those walls? And we don't know if they had light or not. But like I said, that's a different topic. Yes, so people are called, and we've been trained and conditioned to hurt our own selves. We can be our own worst enemies sometimes. We'll see somebody playing chess or see somebody thinking or carrying books. And we tell them, well, what's wrong with you? You're trying to be white. Really? You're trying to think, and so you're trying to be white?
Yeah. And it
Oh my
reminds me
gosh.
too, like I have a book with me everywhere that I go. And so if I have to wait in line at the post office, if I have to wait on my food at a restaurant, I'll be sitting down and I'll have a physical book in my hand that I'm reading and I'm turning the pages. And you will not believe, well, maybe you will, how many people stop me and say, oh my goodness, I don't see people. I can't believe that you're reading. Like you're reading like an actual book. Some people just sit and stare at me before they come over. Like they can't believe that I'm reading. Now, I don't know. I can't really root that in race, but I can because of my race. I can't say maybe that's part of it. I don't know. It's like, you think that it's weird that here I am reading a book. Like, why wouldn't I be reading a book? Let me get a couple of comments in. Y'all, we are having extreme difficulties with our technology today. And so we keep getting frozen. And so I have to keep I can't even remember the word. Refreshing. I have to keep refreshing the page. And so here are the comments that just came in. This is Arlexian, how you say her name? Arlexian Johnson. She says, that's what I just did. I went out and bought chess and I'm teaching me and my kids how to play chess. She just went out and bought a chess game. I just looked at 2 of them in my closet the other day. We've got to learn how to play this game and any other game that allows us to continue to use our intellectual capacity that we all have. We're focusing on chess for a number of reasons. Number one, because Chess Master Toney Davis is passionate about it and he's our guest for today, and the Queen supports him in all that he does, but also because of how the world continues to act like the game is out of reach, is too superior for those minds that are Black or non-white. So we want to make sure that we're drawing attention to that gaze that is a lie and continue to call out the system of white inhumanity, and to focus on the fact that we don't teach it to our children until they get to prison, which is an interesting, we need to think about that, because perhaps if we were teaching our children about chess before they before they are seduced by the world into going into all of these trappings for them that lead them straight to the pipeline of the prison industrial complex, then they would be better able to make decisions. They would be better able to recognize what's happening around them. They would be better able to see the game of life as a game, and realize how to strategize and navigate what they're going through at school, what they're going through at home, what they're going through on their job, what they're going through in the grocery store, wherever it is that you're interacting with people. You got to figure out, how do I interact? And these kinds of skills help to build that up in you and keeps you from ending up in prison, despite how many attempts they have on your life to make sure that that is your end. And then we have Hotep right here says, the roots of chess originate from the African game called Senet. I think I pronounced that right. Yes. And played in the Nile Valley. Variations of it exist throughout Africa. Chess is a game that represents the strategies one must learn to defeat their enemies. Chess is a game that represents the strategies one must learn to defeat their enemies. So if we're going to get serious and talk about our bodies following our minds, we got to make sure that our minds are strategic. We got to make sure that our minds know that there are tactics that we can employ so that we can handle whatever comes our way. It is possible. And for those of you who are faithful, even your Bible, even the Bible that you read, even the King James that you read supports us in this, because it says in 1 Corinthians 10:13, whatever you find yourself in, whatever situation you find yourself in, first of all, know that you are not the only one going through this. You are not alone. Secondly, you need to know that there is a way of escape. Whatever you are going through, there is a way of escape. You can think your way out of it. You don't have to fight your way out of it. You don't have to shoot your way out of it. You don't have to stab your way out of it. You don't have to steal your way out of it. You can think your way out of it. And that's one of the things that chess helps us to do.
And that goes back to something that I think all three of us have said. When you talk about the strategies of life, one thing that happens from this system of oppression of people of color, especially Black people, is fear and control.
Yes, sir.
The fear of the Black people, and use shame in the game of chess, and you look at other things that as we learn, as Black people learn in anything, in any game, in any business endeavor, once we learn, we tend to elevate whatever it is. You look at Simone Biles. Once she learned gymnastics. She has elevated gymnastics to a point where nobody can do what she does. So she has raised the bar so high. When you look at Serena Williams, she raised the bar high. You look at Tiger Woods, he raised the bar high. You look at a Patrick Mahomes, he's raising the bar high. And so what happens is that this system realizes that it may not be able to reach that level. So how do you stop Black people or people of color from getting to that level? You start to diminish. You start to diminish them. You start to bring your fear tactics back in them. You start to bring that control. In fact, when I look at the gymnastic results, people of color at one point, all three who were part of the floor exercises, even in the overall, there were two people of color who won. Never happened before. And believe me, they're going to do everything they can to make sure it don't happen
again. They're already doing that with the Russian coach that's talking about, let's not looking at Simone Biles and saying, what is she really doing? She's not doing anything. We need to focus on aesthetics. We need to focus on, we don't need to focus on skill. We need to focus on aesthetics. So they consistently look for ways to make sure that they are denying us access, because they know, like you said, that once we get on that stage, it's OV for them. Let me get these comments in. We've got Ramen Carter saying, naming the pieces, talking about chess, and giving the pieces certain rules in regard to movement not only teaches you to think, but what to think and the way to think about it. It is a great tool. Let me say that again. Naming the pieces and giving the pieces certain rules in regards to movement not only teaches you to think, but what to think and the way to think about it. It is a great tool. I also think that it gives us an opportunity to begin to name how the pieces if we take this game of chess and we teach each other, we can also figure out how to apply these tools of the game to our real life. So when you think about naming the pieces and how they move, you can think about naming the systems and how they move amongst us, and how we have to navigate them. So once you get the tools, like Toney said, you can use the tools in any number of ways to elevate not only your game, but also your life as you learn more about what you're dealing with and think more seriously about it. And here's our Lexian again saying, Rev Dr. Denise and Pastor Toney Orr finally get to see y'all after listening for a month. Say cheese, Toney. Ain't we cute? Cheese. Thank you so much for being here, our Lexian. I think I'm saying that right.
And I just want to make this real quick comment, and it goes back to what you just said, Denise, about naming the pieces. I never ever really became a great math student. I'm just going to be honest with you. But I became a better math student when my cousins and my family started teaching me the game of chess, because they would speak in I would go into the math class and you start doing algebra, and they come out triangles and moving. I forget what they call that horizontal line with the dots. I forget what they call it, but I can relate to it better because I was relating it to chess. And sometimes, and Denise, I've heard you say this all the time, you find out how a person can learn, and you use that to teach them how to learn.
Absolutely. And here's Raman. He says, but what if those pieces so named move different in real life? What if those pieces so named move different in real life? And we're talking about, he's going back to his comment about naming the pieces, and I'm talking about how we can apply the naming of pieces to how we navigate what's happening in our world. And what if those pieces move? And that's, okay, this is a great question, because everything, Toney, you say this all the time, Toney, Toney Orr, Toney with an E. You say this all the time, that people are the wild card, right? So you can have all the strategies that you want in place, but the person that you are interacting with, you really don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know how they're going to move. And so what we're stressing here with this game of chess is that if you have the intellectual tools, regardless of how they move, there's a way that you can move that allows you to be more successful in whatever your goal is that you're trying to reach. So it's about getting the tools. It's about learning the tools, about learning the application of the tools. And then no matter what situation you find yourself in, no matter how the other person moves, even if they move away that's different from what their name says they're supposed to move, then you are ready. And that's what we need to be. Again, those of you who are faithful, your Bible say, be ye always ready. And you can't do that if you're not thinking deeply about what's happening in your midst. And chess allows us to do that.
All right.
I feel like we talking a lot, and I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to talk, because if you let the EY,
you let us go. Really. You let us start
if
talking.
you let us go, it's over.
We just want to let all the listeners know that we have this weekend, and it's not too late to enter this tournament. It's the richest tournament in Arkansas history. You can win $1,000 for first place, even if you're 12 years old, even if it's your first tournament. If you win all your games, you collect a $1,000 check from us. Okay.
So anybody can. Is this just 13 to 24-year-olds
No.
like you talked about before?
No, ma'am.
So like
This
a
is open.
15-year-old can play a 65-year-old?
That's correct. A 60-year-old can play a 90-year-old and beat that 90-year-old. And we got players from all over the state that's registered. We got about 50 players registered currently. We expect 80 players to show up at this tournament. It's $85 entry fee currently. You're too late to get in for the $70 that we've collected. You can get in for $85. It's $100 at the door. You have to join the United States Chess Federation, which is $45 a year in order to do so. And the hotel is $99 a month. Now you see all the expenses that these events incur, which is another reason that we invented the National Chess League Alliance Association, to help people who are interested in chess become professionals. Right now, it's hard to be a professional because there's not a lot of financial incentive at the tournaments, which again, this is the richest tournament. We think this might wake up some of the youngsters that have been asleep when it comes to this game, just by putting more money into it. I think that's very, very important. And like you all said, y'all hit on so many of the wonderful points that we wanted to discuss. For example, learning chess in jail, which you learned in the first grade. And the system knows this. We learned from the system. They taught us this, that all the different benefits that you get from learning this game. It will prevent you from getting involved in games because you're thinking about consequences for your actions. It prevents you from getting hooked on drugs. Many of us, at least a percentage of us, have a better chance. It's not going to be 100% a deterrent, but it will help. And so also we want to promote our club. We meet every Saturday at Andy's, which is located on 9801 Markham. And that's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Saturday. This last Saturday, we had about 15 players show up. It was crowded in the area that we play. And it was beautiful to see. We had males and females. We had all the different races playing, white, black, and everything in between, Mexicans, Asians, Indians. And it was just a beautiful thing. I took pictures. But yes, don't have any excuses to get involved in this game. You can just Google how to play chess, and there you go. Nowadays we have, like somebody said, technology is a blessing and a curse. But those are most of the main things I want to put out.
Okay, so Roman says that what we're dealing with on a lot of levels is miseducation, and that is exactly right. And I want to say that it's intentional miseducation, and especially when we talk about the game of chess. We talk about how the system of whiteness wants us to believe that it's a game that's superior to the minds of Black folks, even though it was rooted, it was made according to Hotel, it was created by Black folks. And so that's another thing that they do. They always want to extract from us the jewels of who we are and our creativity and the innovation that we have. They always want to pretend like we are not able, we are not capable, but we can and we do beyond their own imaginations, and we have to remember that. And I believe that chess also makes you more confident in what you do, more confident and bold in your walk, because when you start to realize how you know how to strategize, when you start taking down your opponents, when you start winning these games, then that makes you feel some kind of way. And when you feel better about yourself, you walk better. When you walk better, you talk better. When you talk better, you are able to keep yourself out of situations that remind you, ho, I don't have to do this. I know how to think. I don't have to fight you. I don't have to cuss you out. I don't have to do any of those things because I am a thinker. I am bold. I am confident. I am brave because I have the strategies that I need that help me navigate the world that I'm living in. I do need to go back because we only have a couple of minutes. I do need to go back because I need to make sure that we're getting this money down, because that's another thing that happens to us, particularly in the Black community. It's not that we don't have the desire. It's not that we don't have the opportunities sometimes, and sometimes we don't have the resources. And so when you say that you meet every single Saturday at Andy's, and if I'm not mistaken, that's on Markham Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that on Markham Street? Yeah, that's on Markham Street, and going west on Markham Street. And then if you're going west on Markham Street, it's going to be on your left. And then is it from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.? Is that free?
Yes, ma'am. It's currently free. We have a $10 a year membership that we have not been enforcing. We will start enforcing that. But yes, $10 a year.
Okay, is it going to start being enforced this Saturday?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay,
no.
so you can so you can show up on Saturday on Markham Street, and you can be a part of this, learning, watching, observing, just being in the midst of folks that are learning and playing and observing. And then that is free right now. That is free. But then
Yes,
the
we don't want it to be a deterrent, just the $10. If you don't have $10, yeah, it's free for now. And even when we do enforce it, if you don't have it, we're not going to turn you away. No.
Okay, but then we also have, you said this tournament that's this weekend. You said a lot of numbers. You said it's $99 for the room, and then it's $85 for something, and it was $70. It was a lot of numbers going on. So help us understand what's happening this weekend.
Well, I apologize for that. One number I'd like to put out is my phone number. Anyone who's interested in participating can just call me. We'll work it out. My phone number is 501-744-4911. I got a couple of calls. That's what I got distracted earlier. It was a couple of calls from people wanting to join the tournament. And also, it was something else.
We were talking about the money that costs for this weekend. You said there's a tournament this weekend.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're trying to make sure that we know that people know how much it costs if they want to participate. Is it too late for them to participate?
Absolutely not. It's an $85 entry fee currently, and it's a $45 yearly United States Chess Federation membership that you have to have. So that's $130 right there. That's true.
Right?
That's true. It's in Russellville. I think I failed to mention it's in Russellville currently. Hopefully next year it'll be in Little Rock.
We're going to have to go because it's 10 o'clock. But I do want to say this, Ramen Carter.
We are seeking sponsors. Let me go ahead and say that. So please call that number, 501-744-4911.
501-744-4911. We need you to call in so you can get the information about this tournament. You can get the information about becoming a sponsor. We need you to be a part of this that's going on, this new National Chess League Alliance Association CEO, Chess Master Toney Davis in the house with his queen to support him in everything that he does. Ramen Carter says, very loosely translated, chess means to cheat. Don't you hate it when these comments come in right when we have to go? Because
chess means to cheat.
Yes, but you can't say nothing about it right now, Tony. We're going to have to pick it up later. Oh, we're gonna have to talk about it later, but I did want to bring that up because it did come in just in time. Okay, don't touch that dial. You are listening to KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. You have been listening to Community Voices with Chessmaster, National Chessmaster Toney Davis, and Queen Bee Liz, the one that's always right beside him, and your co-host Tony Orr in the house. And we are getting ready. Oh, and I'm your host, the Rev Dr. You can call me Denise. And we are getting ready to get out of here. But you need to know one of the things that they are doing when they give us lack of access to chess, any of the arts, they take away from us because the arts are always able to help us develop our minds. When you talk about math, if you play the piano, that's nothing but math. And so when you listen to music, especially the kind of music that Lola's about to play, it gets you thinking, it gets your mind going, it gets your body grooving, and it helps you to make better decisions. So you got 2 hours coming up with your girl Lola, and we're going to bring her in with...
I just want to say this real quick too. If you don't learn how to think in the game of life, you will always be checkmated in the game of life.
So here comes your girl Lola, and we're going to bring her in with Sarah Vaughn singing Summertime.
All right. Thanks, guys. Man, that was all right.
Thank you so much. That is fantastic. All my grandbabies play chess.
Oh, okay.
What is your age? Because I didn't get the age.
What is my age?
No, what is the age for the people that play chess?
There's no age.
Push it up.
Okay.
That's what I'm
You can
saying.
be anywhere from 1 year old to 130 years old. What's my age?
My whole family plays chess. Now, my age is good, but my autistic